Miracles Abuaje paying back up on Sudima power. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign team. No, so let's say whatever to you about to say that you say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is winning in a big way on Saturday, and he will lead us to victory on November 7, 2024. When you say what I said, Miracles Abuaje able to do say can be as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia be din kunim dieno kese pa in a big way. No so some pair atun to that when put in some Miracles Abuaje and so I can buy everything.
Definitely, but I've seen this story.
I mean, it's an election, and typically you should expect a number of things from your opponents. And so none of them come to us as a surprise. It's been like that from the very day Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia declared his intention to run. And so the various attacks have it stopped. I don't think they are going to stop until after November 4th.
But you call this attack only an attack?
Obviously, I mean, what else? What else? And so, just as we've done from beginning to now, the objective is to stay focused. As we speak, the Vice President is in the Northeast region, wrapping up his campaign, very busy, and he's not going to be distracted in the last 4 days to the elections. I mean, nobody who understands even numbers would even accept such frivolous, comments. It lacks any basis. It doesn't make sense in the first place. There is no has never, ever even thought about asking any candidate to step down. What is the point? He's been leading this election from the get-go, from day one. He's the most hard-working candidate in the entire contest. He has been to each of the regions. He's on his 15th region, going to every constituency. He has been consistently focused on delivering his message to the delegates. Why would he go and even talk to any candidate? And if he's going to talk to a candidate, is it a candidate who is trailing behind him with several basis points? No attention to it. We are not interested in. You guys are interested. That's why he's there. But for us, it makes no sense. We are focused, and our focus reflects on Saturday in the polls in the elections.
What has been your main campaign focus? What are you telling the people?
The Vice President's message to the party people has about 2 legs. The leg one is about how much value he brings to the party and how his personal value is going to affect or impact on our electoral fortunes. And he speaks about how his presence in our party has brought our votes up in several areas that we call the non-traditional areas. If you go to the northern part of Ghana, the Vice President's presence over the periods, at least since 2012, we can measure, has shored up our votes in the northern part of Ghana. I mean, the greater northern region, which before it was split into Savannah, Northeast, and Northern, had about 31 parliamentary seats. Okay, where MPP had over 28, and we had barely, some single numbers. Today we are leading the NDC. We have 16 of those seats. The NDC have 15. It tells you how much personal value the Vice President brings to our party. Areas that traditionally would not vote for MPP have started voting for MPP as a result of the presence of the Vice President. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has introduced a new set of politics into our body politics today. Until Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia showed up in our Ghanaian politics, it was 3 or 4 days to elections. Then you have the NDC moving from house to house, giving people matches and matches and kerosene to vote for.
You're asking me if I know matches?
Yes, do you know matches? If you use lighter.
Oh my God.
Or if you don't matches, giving them matches and kerosene, asking that they vote for their candidate. But today, since 2008 at least, we can say that because of the kind of politics Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the new breed of politics is introduced. People are now discussing issues. We are talking about issues. People now can point. One of the reasons why MPP seems to be under so much pressure is that every Ghanaian, if you open the phone line, can tell you what MPP's promise was under education, what MPP's promise was under health. They can tell you what our promise was under industrialization, intellectual conversation. And that's the kind of politics that is now attractive to the people of Ghana. And they are showing that in the polls, and it's reflecting in our polls. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia tell the party people about this. Then, of course, he is very keen on the prosperity and the growth of Ghana. And so the point is this. We need to protect the gains we have made as a government and as a political party, whilst we pursue the outstanding things. And there's a history to this. Between 2000 and 2008, President Kufuor set Ghana on the path of prosperity. In fact, by the time President Kufuor and the NPP were leaving power in 2009, Ghana was called the gateway to Africa. It was said that we are the golden age of business.
Right.
Banks used to come to us and ask us to come and take loans. This is something that happened in Ghana. But in 2008, President Kufuor and the NPP government encountered two challenges: fuel price shortages and high fuel prices. And then there was water shortages. You remember the popular Kufuor gallon, where even in the middle of Accra here, premium neighborhoods, people will be carrying yellow gallons and looking for water. And then the NDC picked on these two issues and started spinning the propaganda and telling people Ghana is difficult. Look at you lining up, looking for fuel, even ordinary water you cannot find. And then they started moving around with sheets of papers, telling the people of Ghana that Kufuor and his government have stolen so much money. This is their ADB bank statement. This is their GCB NIB bank statement. To the point that, if you recall, at some point in this country, the NDC told the people of Ghana that Kufuor and his government have stolen all the gold bars from back of Ghana. In fact, it came up at the Verton when after NDC won power. And I remember the now General Secretary Fifi Kwete admitted at Verton that it was all politics and that it was a lie. But the people of Ghana at that point, genuinely there were two challenges. They had no choice of propaganda. And the result was that as of 2016, this country was on its knees. By now, Metro TV will be running on genset because there was no power. People laid off workers. Ghanaians were laid off in their industries. If you go to Tema, factories were shut down and converted into churches. Now we come to power again. Descendants of President Kufuor have to come and fix all this mess. Today, over 100,000 Ghanaians who were left on the street every year as a result of not having money to go to senior high school, as a result of lack of infrastructure, have all been brought back to school as a result of our intervention in the education sector. One of the most audacious investments in our health sector in this country is being undertaken under this government. Why? Because if you recall, in 2016, the NDC told us that they had invested so much into health infrastructure and that they fixed all the health infrastructure gap, only for COVID to come, for us to realize that, indeed, even from Okre, all the way to Adenta, Okre, Ekwapim North, Ekwapim South, Madina, Adenta, 5 districts had only 1 district hospital. And yet we thought that the NDC said they had fixed everything. They told us they had fixed all our roads. And yet today, even upon all the road infrastructure investment that this government has made, we still have the need for more. So what the Vice President is saying is that we need to protect the gains we made in education. We need to protect the gains we made in agriculture. We need to protect the gains we made in industrialization. The gains we have made under the health sector must be protected, whilst we pursue the challenges we have in our macroeconomic. Because clearly there are challenges with our macroeconomic indicators. Inflation is not too good. Exchange rate is not too good, which obviously is affecting so many other things in the lives of the people. But in our pursuit of fixing those two things, we should not lose sight of protecting the gains we have made in the other sectors. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is basically telling us that he understands correctly the gains we have made. The things we have achieved as a government, he understands them. And he completely acknowledges the difficulties and the challenges we face as a government and as a people. And so he is the right person to be able to protect what we have achieved and also work with us to pursue the outstanding. So let me end by this. You see, when we say efficient leadership, it is not the absence of challenges. Challenges would come. But the difference between a very bad leader and an efficient or a very good leader is the leader who, in the midst of crisis and challenges, is able to stand and say that, my people, I acknowledge that we are in difficult times. I acknowledge that we have challenges, but let's work together and get ourselves out of it. That is the difference between a very bad leader and a good leader. And that's what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia brings to the table. In today's challenges, obvious challenges, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has acknowledged that, hey, we have done so well in these areas, but we have a lot of work to do in our macroeconomy, and we must work towards it. But it doesn't mean that we should make that mistake we made in 2008, where in our pursuit for the undone, we undid the ones we've been able to do.
Aha, and I'm due to make the ABC meeting. Edo being was essentially. Acromatic you saw and our so Makram.